This episode of the Nerf Herder Council is brought to you by Audible. Visit audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. Warning: the following podcast contains irreverent humor, exceptionally nerdy opinions, potential cursing, and plenty of love for the prequels. If any of the preceding offends you, please turn off this podcast immediately, and may the Force be with you.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder!
You can't use that word! Only we can use that word!
I've had this for ages. Kept it locked away.
Where'd you get that?
A good question. For another time.
You're tuned in to the Nerf Herder Council, your source for Star Wars opinion, conversation, and debate. Featuring your hosts, JT.
You really could technically thaw out Princess Leia like a damn toaster strudel, and she'd be alive. I think I have a new intro clip.
AJ.
Chewie, crack a window. The cold air keeps me awake.
Steve.
It's a sign of any good audio podcast is visuals, right?
On this episode of the Nerf Herder Council, with so many stories being told in the Star Wars universe, has the Lucasfilm creative team missed some major opportunities for great ones?
This is the Nerf Herder Council.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I am your host, JT. We want to thank Galactic Empire for the theme music. Do not forget, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. And for all of your official Nerf Herder Council merch needs, you can go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. So, do all the HTTP stuff at the front if you want. But I never remember that, so just shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. So, anyway, thanks everybody for checking out the last few episodes. I actually got some feedback from a few people that were shocked that I actually enjoyed Resistance. So that was kind of cool. And, real quick question about that before we get to tonight's topic. What is the release schedule on that show? Does anybody know? Because I thought they were going to release it every week, but apparently that's not the case.
I thought it was Sundays at 10 p.m.
Yeah, see, that's the thing is they front-loaded the digital releases, so they gave you technically four episodes all at once. So I think the digital releases will pick up with the cadence now that we're through those first three episodes on TV.
Okay. Yep. I was wondering because I saw a fourth episode. I think it was on Google Play, but then I couldn't get at it, and I'm like, well, I know I saw it, and it's not on Disney Now.
Yeah, I was saying it didn't show up on the Disney Now app either.
Yeah.
By the way, we were asking how many episodes in this season. 22.
Okay. Cool. All right.
So decent run. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, and because I'm looking forward to it, and they haven't put out any more episodes, I actually started getting into Clone Wars again. And because I finally printed out the chronological order, so I'm doing that. I think I'm obviously I'm very much at the beginning, but I think I'm 8 episodes in or something. So
I think I need to do that because we talked about that on a previous episode where I really tried to binge watch it when it was on Netflix, and it got to that point where it was just like, oh my God, I can't watch this anymore.
Isn't it still on Netflix?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It might be. Yeah.
Wasn't it a year ago? They're like, watch it now. It's leaving at the end of the month.
It was a year and a half. I remember it being March or something.
It's just never going away. They're like, yeah, watch. Maybe that's their whole hook. They're like, yeah, we'll get some clicks if we just tell them we're going to take it away.
What's really funny about the chronological order thing? It starts out with a couple episodes from season 3, and then you watch the movie, and then it goes through season 1, and you have to watch episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17. They skip one episode.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Who who, when they were writing that, was like, I'm getting tired of the story. Let's do something else real fast, and we'll jump back into it. Like, what the hell?
That's the one question I've never heard at a panel, and I would love if someone goes to Dave Filoni and be like, dude, what is up with that release order?
Yeah, I mean, how did
how did you revisit something in season 3 from like season 1?
Yeah,
they probably just had all the scripts stacked up, and somebody thought they were playing like a funny trick on everybody, and they're like, I'm just gonna sneak this one in here, and then after like 9 weeks they just forgot about it.
Right,
and then once they started doing the voiceovers, they were just like, oh god, no.
The only thing I can think is they had like all these scripts ready to go, right? Like George Lucas had what, like 39 scripts ready or something for that Star Wars Underworld series.
Yeah.
So they had like multiple seasons already written, and then they just looked at them and were like, which ones can we afford to do when? And they looked at a couple and are like, that's going to cost way too much. We're going to have to do that later.
Yeah.
That's the only explanation, because otherwise, why would you do that? Just be like, they just got them out of order or something? Like the timestamp was wrong. They're like, oh, okay, well, hey, guys, I just found this one. It was like 3 years ago, but you want to do it?
This one was accidentally stapled onto the back of episode 12. Should we just throw it in there? Why not? Screw it.
There's a bunch of unorganized potheads.
Right?
Hey, man, here's the script. Is this week's? I don't know. Just do it. It's the script, man.
You know what would really piss Filoni off? Let's put the wrong one. Let's send it to Disney, and he'll catch it before it goes on air. It'll be hilarious.
They go flipping through, they're like, hey, this is pretty good. Why the hell did we do the Zillow Beast instead of this?
Nice. Well, before we get too far down that
4
road,
Jar Jar episodes, and you're sitting on this?
who in the ever living is Meeber Gascon?
Oh, come on!
He lives in the damn droid's head? What the shit? Oh my gosh. Okay, so again, before we get too far down that crazy road.
Not our topic tonight.
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah. AJ, you had mentioned something about episode 7 that you wanted to bring to the table as a more overarching topic, not just episode 7, but
Yeah, since TNT seems to love running that movie lately. First off, it's kind of nostalgic now because it is such a ripoff of the classic trilogy that, and it feels so different from Last Jedi, which I've been watching way too much. So it kind of has that warm, fuzzy member berries feel for at least the first half.
yeah.
But what it also reminded me of after seeing Last Jedi so much is how many things Force Awakens had in it that Last Jedi did like nothing with. And it got me thinking, I'm like, that's probably happened a lot. I mean, with all the stories that Star Wars has told, there's probably just as many that they've hinted at and never have. So as much as they like to paint in every corner, it seems like there's a lot that they're still like just dangling out there, twisting in the wind, waiting for someone to come up with a good idea. So
Like a missed opportunity or something?
yeah, exactly. Like the Knights of Ren. Everyone was all. I didn't even remember that they weren't in Last Jedi because when I don't know about you, but when I watch the movies, I don't pick them apart critically, especially on first watch. I just accept the story as it's given to me. So never once in watching Last Jedi did I go, whatever happened to the Knights of Ren? Where are those guys?
Yeah, during the movie, thought never crossed your mind. It's like after the movie when you sit there and you try to process everything you just saw and you went, yeah, why didn't they do X?
Yeah. It really is kind of interesting about that because none of the other movies really do that. I mean, the sequel trilogy seems to have done that with these first 2 movies, just kind of go away from stuff that was hinted at in the previous movie. But in the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, if they bring it up, they're damn sure going to explain it. So
I don't know. I think the entire existence of the prequel trilogy is probably too far after to say that they didn't miss that opportunity. I mean, I fought alongside your father in the Clone Wars. And what? What the hell are the Clone Wars? Don't worry. You'll find out in like 23 years.
Right.
Just continue to stare down the barrel of the lightsaber. Everything will be all right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, when you brought it up,
Why don't you go ahead and push that button there, dummy? We'll just end this whole thing. Written, directed by George Lucas.
That's like that meme that I found, or that my buddy Toomey sent me this week that I had to post, where it's just Anakin going, "Can I go, Mom, please?" And she goes, "No," and it goes directed by George Lucas. It's like that slow burn for me because I was like, oh yeah, because then Phantom Menace would have, nothing would have happened in the Phantom Menace, and then I went, oh crap, all of Star Wars would have never happened. Like it just like dawned on me. I was like, holy shit.
I was trying to find a photo editor for my phone because what I wanted to do is I wanted to take those first 2 frames and then have 3 be Anakin burning on Mustafar with "I hate you," and then Ron Burgundy in frame 4 going, "Wow, that escalated quickly."
Right. No, but I mean, when you mentioned missed opportunities in Star Wars, I immediately thought of Luke Skywalker actually dying or becoming one with the Force in The Last Jedi. I'm fine with it happening, but if they want to bring him back, it's going to have to be as a Force ghost, which we've seen. Or they're going to have to come up with some stupid plot point to say, oh, no, he's not really gone, which has the potential to really, really suck. And we are going to talk about a potential way to do that in a future episode that has me super pissed off. So maybe I'm just mad because...
You talking about when Rey finds the time stone from...
Yeah. Finally do the crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the most epic crossover in history.
I just think killing Luke. I mean, I guess it would be kind of cliche to do it in the final movie, but I just really think there was more you could have done with him after having him only in The Force Awakens for like 10 seconds.
That is interesting you bring that up, and it's shaky ground, so be careful because there's an entire camp of people that wanted Luke Skywalker to do exactly what he joked about, which was, stare down the entire First Order with a laser sword?
Well, okay, all you have to do is have everything happen exactly as is, but don't have him disappear. Don't have him, die.
So he just does the projection and doesn't die.
Yeah. I mean, it leaves him there to actually have a chance to be part of the story going forward.
Boy, man, that would be a dick move on his part. Be like, all right, look, I bailed you out on Crate, but just leave me the fuck alone now, will you?
Well, I mean, we don't know.
I got you off the planet. It's good enough.
We don't know what he would do, but at least he's there. And I always wonder,
he'd go milk that green sea teat again, and just spear another cold clawfish.
Yeah.
Right off the top of my head, I would kind of imagine he would have played the exact same role in Episode 9. Like, he would have just been like an old crotchety guy that didn't want to really help and then would come in at the tail end of the movie again, and people would just bitch about it and go, hey, it's the same thing in Episode 8.
Steve with no faith in the fandom as usual.
Oh, God. Why should I?
Yeah.
Let's have that for a show topic.
I didn't say I disagreed with you, man. I did not say that I disagreed.
I was the one that got yelled at by you guys or criticized by you guys after a show when I said on the air that I was like, Star Wars fans are the greatest and the dumbest people I've ever met in my life.
Now be careful. You're getting into some Chuck Wendig, Jason Ward territory.
Oh, wow,
there.
yeah.
No. I said
How have we
it.
not brought that up?
I said it. I'm not tweeting it, so I'm okay.
There's a missed
Yeah.
See, there's another missed opportunity. Firing Chuck Wendig now, you missed an opportunity to do it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago.
All right.
Sorry. That it's just, and then
Hashtag shots fired.
well, dude,
Hashtag Wendig fired.
it's like if you're going to put your opinion out there in that fashion, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
You can disagree with people.
We should probably walk this back for a second for anyone who isn't on Twitter and following Star Wars authors.
Yeah, Chuck Wendig basically put a bunch of Star Wars fans on blast, and then that was last year at this point. And he's very political. Okay, fine. You're allowed to voice your political opinions, but he attacked a pretty large segment of Star Wars fans and kind of called them out and was, insulting them. And like a month ago, 2 months ago, Marvel was like, yeah, you're fired. Took him off the comic books, and he was working on an as yet unannounced Star Wars book. And Jason Ward at Making Star Wars posted an article basically throwing a fit that he got fired. And I'm like, and he was calling these people losers and that they don't want diversity and all this stuff. I'm like, well, okay, but see, here's the thing. Like, if you're going to put your stuff out there and just insult people, eventually someone's going to have a problem with it. Like, if you disagree with somebody, that's totally fine. The problem I think Marvel had was when you're, getting into insult wars. It's like, well, just, you don't have to do that. They had no problem when you were posting your anti-Trump stuff all the time. It's politics. Okay, cool. But when you start attacking people that spend money on the property and calling them names, that's probably not a good idea, especially in the wake of what happened with Solo. When you see certain fans will actually get pissed off enough to not spend money. So, okay, I don't feel bad for you. If that's the only way you can communicate is by insulting people, then you get what you get.
Now, does it count as a missed opportunity if the things that came out as the stories weren't any good? Because that, I feel like this is the best segue I can do to get us back on topic.
Yeah.
Because those Aftermath books, damn it, they're official. We have to accept them as the way things went down in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, man, really?
I'm being
therapy Ewoks?
Excuse what?
Yeah, that's a thing.
Are you gotta see? I haven't read them because honestly, like anytime I see a celebrity that just politics, I'm like, F you, leave me alone. But the only one I can tolerate is Mark Hamill because he's just so good to Star Wars fans. I'm like, all right, I'll deal with you. But pretty much anybody else, I'm like, I don't want to hear it. I hate politics, and I don't need my celebrities who I go to for escapism, like actors and actresses in movies. I don't need that from you. And you're well within your rights to post it. I have no problem with you posting it, but I don't have to see it. So it made me not want to read Chuck Wendig's books. I was like, it's kind of a turnoff to me. But So anyways, yeah, back to missed opportunities. I just, keeping Luke alive, while it would have been cliche to have him die in episode 9, they also didn't have to kill him in episode 9. You could keep Luke Skywalker around.
Yeah, it's a disturbing trend since it seems like the way the sequel trilogy is going to go is you just lose one original trilogy character in every movie.
Yeah, and I mean,
that's the legacy of the sequel trilogy. Well, this is the one where Han dies. This is the one where Luke dies. And this is the one where Leia dies.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Yeah.
That sounds like a fun ride.
I really wonder if...
So you're saying Chewie's going to survive. All right.
And Lando, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just... I don't know. I really wonder if they would have rewritten what happened to Luke had Carrie Fisher passed during production of the movie and not after all of principal photography was finished. Because if you knew she was gone and you had no idea how you're going to be able to put her in episode 9, you have to think they wouldn't have done that to Luke because, well, we need one of these guys.
Oh, yeah.
So, I just wish he was still around. I'm not upset by it, but I think you could have done something really cool with it. What do you have?
Well, I really had to go digging for this one. If I didn't want to like harp on Force Awakens, because there's a lot of stuff in that one that just you're like, what? WTF? Anything with the New Republic. Like the fact that we never see them and then they get wiped out in one blast with Starkiller Base. We're supposed to feel something about that, like, oh my God, that's so much destruction. But we never knew anybody on those planets. The government didn't exist as far as we, the movie-going audience, knew.
I didn't know that they were even important when that happened.
Right. I didn't know that was.
You just assumed it was people on a planet, and it wasn't even a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the Resistance were basically like the good guys, and this was just a planet that had good guys. Oh, they're dying. Like,
yeah,
I have no idea. Like, no, that's the actual like government. Like,
right. If it wasn't for the audiobook and the Star Wars Card Trader app, I wouldn't have known that the camel face looking guy coming up to the balcony was the actual chancellor of the entire New Republic.
Yeah.
Like it's just an alien. How am I supposed to know that crap? Like you might want to introduce them a little bit first before you blow them all up. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I found out when they were talking.
That's going to be the TV series or something. They're going to talk about all the New Republic stuff. So then we can go back and watch
that.
Yeah, then we can go back and watch episode 7 and go, oh, okay.
Yeah. I hope they do that. I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm hoping that The Mandalorian is hugely successful and that people really like it, because I think having live action television shows to fill in the blanks is a really cool idea.
Yeah.
So
I do like that, like the Marvel formula, you mean, where like your TV shows just slot right in?
yeah.
That is really cool. That is really cool. I mean, it's tough to pull off that stunt, though. I remember,
yeah.
Like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you know, like the week after a movie drops, they'll be doing references to it on the show. Like, well, you can't reference too much because some people haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of the New Republic, and I'm still not really clear on the whole New Republic versus Resistance business to begin with. I've read Bloodline and all the new canon books pretty much, anything that's on audio at least. It's still not really clear. Like that's that conflict that I still want to find out about. Like, why did the New Republic never recognize the First Order as a threat? Why would they just let them go?
You would have to think that's a story that they will eventually tell. And maybe even in Resistance, that'll be something they hint at.
I feel like maybe they have just, a little bit here and a little bit there. And if you haven't read every comic and read every book and seen the cartoons and watched the movies, you don't get the whole picture.
Yeah.
I mean, even some of that's in the Battlefront campaign, isn't it?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So if you're not like all over every form of media, then you might be missing some pretty crucial stuff. All I've heard is that it's kind of like a galaxy was weary of war, so they just like was it Neville Chamberlain? Is that the prime minister who went with appeasement before Churchill? Like he basically gave Poland to Hitler because he's like, let's just give him this one thing and then he won't be a problem anymore.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of what the New Republic was doing with the First Order. It's like, yeah, they seem kind of bad, but if we don't piss them off, then maybe they'll just stay away.
Yeah, by the way, I was saying yeah because that was the thing. I wasn't saying yeah because I know that's definitely the name. I'm not remembering the name, so I don't want to be that idiot like someone out there's like, that's not Neville Chamberlain, you jackass. Like,
and it sucks because he's got that famous quote, the peace in our time or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really should be careful about what I say because last week I said Elijah Wood voiced the First Order guy, and he's actually Ruckland, that blonde kid that was on the last episode of Resistance.
Yep.
So totally wrong.
So, Steve, what do you have anything?
I don't know. You guys mentioned the Mandalorian show. Would the entire character arc of Boba Fett be a missed opportunity?
Oh, wow! That's not a bad idea.
Like how popular? I mean, throw Clone Wars away. Let's go based on all we knew from the movies. Mm-hmm. He became an ultra popular guy for somebody that had 4.5 minutes of screen time, 7 lines, and essentially did nothing.
That's actually, yeah, he was really popular in Empire. They could have done more with him in Jedi.
He just pushed Han in a block around, and then he fell down the stupid butthole of a planet and died.
What they call the anus in the sand.
Yeah.
Right.
That
puts a totally different spin on it if that's the thing's butthole.
All right.
They're just like, God, this guy's really cool. And then he just very stupidly flies into the side of Jabba's barge and falls down into the
Right.
butthole.
So this is going to be totally random and then continue up to this. But for some reason, this is just the way my ridiculous mind works. When you said, boy, that would be a whole different way to look at it if it was his butthole, I thought, and I don't know why this literally popped in involuntarily. I was like, so that means if it took a dump, the poop would look like churros. Because of the teeth.
What?
That's literally what popped into my head. Can you think about it? It's not unlikely. So, anyways, we have now determined that the Sarlacc craps churros. Giant sandy churros.
All the sand looks like the brown sugar
I was just about to say that.
outside of the churro.
Oh my God. I can't believe that was the first thing I thought of. So anyhow, the character
Jabba's
of Boba Fett-
getting ready to make them walk the plank, and the Sarlacc just does one of its churro crafts. You just hear it bubbling, and they're like, "Oh, back the barge up! Here it comes!"
It's so awful.
R2's just going around the barge with that tray on him with a tray full of churros. Right. People are just pulling him off.
Hey, that would explain how Boba Fett got out of the Sarlacc. Mm-hmm. He literally got crapped out of the Sarlacc. He's like, I'll just sit around waiting for a bowel movement. He's sitting there looking at his watch, just chilling. Like, I'm not even digesting.
It starts rumbling. He's like, "Here's my out."
It's like riding one of those wave pools.
Yeah. He just fires up the jetpack. Just rides a churro poop out on top of the Sarlacc.
I'm pretty sure we could recreate that scene by just winding back the footage of how he ended up in there.
Really good. Oh my gosh. So back onto the rails. Yeah, that's actually a really good idea, Steve, because with, again, how much people liked him in Empire, to have him in Return of the Jedi basically even less is kind of, yeah, you could have actually done some more cool stuff with him.
And then even, I know you, AJ, you mentioned it before with the Clone Wars that you're like, I think you, John, you said you were a fan of Boba Fett or at least Jango, right?
Oh yeah, no, both of them, yeah.
But like even you say, AJ, you're just like the story that you got of him being a child. You're just like, this is completely unnecessary. Like it was kind of a worthless story. So it's like there's such a hole between 4, 5, and 6 that you could have told a really cool story about that guy somewhere, and they just never did it.
Well, and they still haven't gotten around to really showing where adult Boba Fett came from. Like he started doing bounty hunts and stuff in Clone Wars, but he didn't get the armor yet, and they still haven't officially acknowledged that he even is Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So there's that whole mystery still dangling out there.
Well, I guess let me ask a really stupid question. Do we know anything about the Mandalorian yet? Is this like the time frame of it or anything?
It's between 6 and 7 again.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah.
All right. So it's not gonna spell anything. I thought maybe if they were gonna go, oh yeah, it's kind of around the 4 or 5 thing, I would have been like, oh, at least you can get a little bit of Boba Fett in there somehow, shoehorn him in. But yeah, it's between 6 and 7. That's
it's different. They haven't really said anything about it. The only thing, they released photos this week that Filoni was on set and George Lucas was on set. So that was pretty cool.
So
I'm always a fan of George Lucas throwing in his input.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess they're just gonna act like the whole Boba Fett thing doesn't exist anymore. They're just gonna ride the mystery train with him because it's obviously paying off already with fans anyway, so screw it, right?
They brought back Maul. I mean, Lord knows they could bring back Boba Fett.
Boba Fett's in episode 9.
Could you imagine? They just show everything that people want to see. Here's the Knights of Ren. Here's how Boba Fett gets out of the Sarlacc. Here's oh, that's bullcrap, man. Boba Fett's been in there for like 35 years. Yeah, but it says you get slowly digested for 1,000 years. So technically, it's only been like a few seconds if you base it on human digestion.
They show what happens at the end of episode 7 when Han's falling down the chasm and Boba Fett just swoops in and saves him, and both of them are off doing bounty hunter work together now.
Instead of the whole Reylo relationship, it's actually like Han and Boba Fett become friends.
The slave one comes in and Han gets out of it.
Right?
That's a much better trip when you're not in carbonite.
I like sitting in the front seat better than the cargo hold, frozen in some really cold metal. So thanks for that. Speaking of Solo, I know we brought this up on a previous show, but this will always be a huge missed opportunity to me if they don't rectify this. A Solo sequel.
Yes.
The way that movie ended and the possibilities for such kick-ass stories, and for them to not do a movie all because, it tanked at the box office because of their own stupid decisions, stupid nearsighted decisions, that is just ridiculous. And, it ties into the Boba Fett thing.
Yeah.
You could bring Boba Fett back. You would have Jabba the Hutt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a license to print money. If you tell people, hey, look at this. Here's Han and Lando again. You like them? Oh, remember Boba Fett? People are like, holy crap. And then here's Jabba the Hutt. Holy crap. Like, it's a perfect opportunity for a kick-ass story that ties into the original trilogy again. And you'd have Maul involved, and all that would be, it's just the potential for an awesome story is right there. And
it still might happen because I've noticed this really slow trend when we were talking earlier before we started recording about how toxic social media and everything is since Solo has come out in the homes, I'm seeing this really slow thing more and more on Twitter and Facebook. The people are just like, I did watch Solo the other day, and I really enjoyed it.
I am so glad you mentioned that, because I've noticed the same thing.
It's all the same people that 6 months ago were like boycotting the stupid thing, like, Star Wars is the worst thing ever because of The Last Jedi, blah, blah, blah. And now they're all coming out the woodworks going, Solo was pretty good.
Yep. Almost like a oops.
It's going to be like that thing, since it's Halloween time, it's going to be like Disney and Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
The movie did nothing in theaters when it came out, and it just turned into like this cult classic. Now it's like one of the most popular Halloween movies ever. And it's
I believe Nightmare Before Christmas is the one you're talking about.
Both of them. But like, it's the same thing that Solo tanked in the box office. I'm using air quotes because Venom pretty much made like 10 million more than Solo did, and they acted like that was the greatest movie in the history of the world.
That reminds me, I gotta go see that.
It made like 80 million in its opening weekend. Solo made 70, but Solo was a tank, and Venom is the greatest movie to get released in the history of movies, apparently. So figure that out. but yeah, like now that it's on Blu-ray and digital and all that, more and more people are just like, yeah, Solo was actually really good.
Yep.
They all have the same reaction we did to Resistance last week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's funny that's a thing, because all these people that boycotted it, like, yeah, if you, now they're probably think what we are, like, well, damn, now I kind of want a sequel. Well, that's why you go buy movie tickets, hole.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you support something, they'll make more of it. It's like the music business when people's favorite bands stop making music and they break up. Oh, but I really want to see them again. I want to get more music. Well, you didn't pay for their albums and you didn't go see them in concert. So where was the income supposed to be? If you're not giving them money for them to keep going, they're not going to do it.
It's like everyone forgot that Star Wars is allowed to just be fun.
Yeah.
Like it grew so big that everything had to be deep and meaningful. No, it can just be fun.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I keep coming back to with Solo is it's just fun. You don't have to really get invested in it. You don't have to study the deeper meanings of this and that. It's just fun. And that's okay. It really is.
And that's the whole crux of Solo is like, it's the anti-Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, we just gave you one that you have to think about a ton, and it's deep, and you have to watch it a bunch of times to catch everything and get the greater message. And here's Han Solo and Chewbacca kicking ass in the Falcon for 2 hours. Like, it's nothing to think about. Just just watching him kick ass. Like, what's the Kessel Run? That's what you're thinking, and then we give you the Kessel Run. Like, how do you get the blaster? We tell you how he gets the blaster. Like. So, that was the whole point of that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I really hope that in some form they do continue that storyline. And, who knows, like on the streaming service, maybe they will. Because that, we just mentioned The Mandalorian. It's 8 episodes and they gave it a budget of $100 million. So if you...
yeah, that's
a movie.
That's a hefty tag, yeah.
That's a movie. And
we touched on it before. If you really want to get people on that streaming service and you go... yeah, we're going to give you Solo 2, and it's going to be right on this thing on this date. Free. Yeah, well, free, air quotes again, because you're paying for the subscription, but you know what I mean. Like,
I'd pay for that subscription.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, do you have any other ones, AJ?
Well, you reminded me with Solo. How about Rogue One? I mean, they introduced this whole cast of characters, and there's a lot of them, like Baze and Chirrut, where they got it. They got it in books, but they didn't even get like a comic or anything. Like, there are so many other things that they introduce in that, like with all these different Force-sensitive factions, like you can know of the Force, but you're not a Jedi, and where the Death Troopers come from, and all that kind of stuff. Like just so much of the visual stuff, at least even in Rogue One, you're like, I want to see more of that. I want to know why these Death Troopers are around here and never seen again. Where'd they come from? Who are they?
I want to know why they talk cool in Rogue One and they talk normal in Rebels, which sucks.
I think you just answered your own question.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
There it is.
Pretty much any time you mention Rebels and then you follow that up with the word sucks, you pretty much answered your own question.
I wonder how many people are like totally against our opinion of that show. People that actually listen to our show and are like, man, why do they keep crapping on that show? I loved it.
They're allowed to have their opinion, and they're also allowed to be wrong. So,
Right? Yeah, we will not be going about insulting other fans, but we will be, letting you know that your opinion of Rebels is wrong if you enjoyed it.
Yeah, Rebels is a lot like our show, where we think we have a good idea and then it just fails in execution.
Yeah, we're the Rebels of podcasting.
timestamp that for AJ's intro clip.
Yeah. See, we could literally call ourselves the Rebels of podcasting, and people will think we're calling ourselves Rebels because we're rebellious. And we're like, no, we mean the show. Like, we think the show sucks, and so we're saying our podcast is crap. Like, that'd be great. Like the double meaning.
Hey, check out our podcast. We think it's terrible.
Yeah. Our podcast sucks. Will you listen, please? Go buy our t-shirts. Yeah,
Spend your time and money on us, even though we're not worth it.
right? Yeah.
All we need is a seal of approval from Filoni, and we should be solid, right?
We'll get him on the show. I'm sure he's ready to come onto our show.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
Look,
agree.
if he's got time to walk around the set of The Mandalorian, he's got time for interviews, damn it.
He may be directing The Mandalorian.
Hey, that'd be cool. We said we wanted him in live action.
Well, he is directing. I know one episode for sure. It might be 2 of that show. Because they have like special guest directors, like Taika Waititi, the guy who did Thor Ragnarok, is doing one. Bryce Dallas Howard is doing one. She's the really hot redhead from the Jurassic World movies.
Okay.
So yeah, she's doing one.
Boy, they'll just let anybody do it, huh?
Shut up. No,
Well,
Bryce,
she
we cannot put dinosaurs in the Mandalorian.
She's just like, yeah, my dad's Ron Howard. I pretty much know
That's
how
probably
to
pretty much
direct.
what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
George Lucas just made a call. Oh yeah, hey John Favreau, this is George Lucas. I'm friends with Ron Howard. Can you put his daughter and let her direct an episode? But yeah, I'm trying to.
Why not? You gave me a speaking role in Solo. I mean,
Exactly.
no, you didn't, George. You're not involved in Star Wars anymore. Wink, wink. That dude sure is hanging on a lot of Star Wars sets for not being anything involved in Star Wars anymore, huh?
Wouldn't you have him out?
I'm just saying, like, if he's going to be doing set visits, why don't you get a little bit more out of him while he's there?
Well, they do. he made a suggestion for like a scene in Solo to Ron Howard. So there's that. So you never know. Maybe he did give an idea.
Man, I'd be emailing first drafts of the script over to that guy.
Yeah, I would just be like, look, you've got enough money. Like, can we just like work together but not tell anybody? Because that'd be awesome.
Boy, wouldn't that be the ultimate swerve?
That would be so great.
Comes out after everything's all concluded. Yeah. Co-written by George Lucas.
Yeah, and everybody loves it. They're like, this is like the greatest thing they've ever done. The Mandalorian renews my faith in Star Wars. It's fantastic. And then George Lucas is on Instagram. Guess what, you fuckers? It was me.
By the way, I wrote episode 8. Suck it.
He just holds up a pile of scripts. He goes, yeah, you see these? Wrote it with this pen. Flips the bird. Message over. Yeah, no, I agree with you, AJ, in terms of the Rogue One stuff. I'm, as I've said before, I'm a huge fan of Chirrut Imwe. And so if they did more stuff about the Guardians of the Wills, that'd be cool. I think the planet Jeddah itself is, kind of an undiscovered well of cool stories.
That's another one of those places where you look around, you're like, there's so much crap here.
Yeah.
Why don't I get to know why there's a giant statue of a Jedi sideways in the desert?
Yeah, 2 of them.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There's 2 of them. That's right.
I mean, yeah, knowing more about that would be awesome. So I hope they do that at some point. I mean, and that could be probably just a personal preference of mine because I like my favorite part of Star Wars is the whole Jedi and lightsaber thing and the lore of the Force. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I love that aspect of it. So if they had a lot more about that, I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, they're very good at, especially in the spin-off movies, it seems, when they want to like show different stuff, of introducing concepts. But because they're one-off movies, you know you're never going to see any references to that again. It's probably going to be the lore of the comics or the books or something. So you can't just get it on a screen where you really want it to be.
Yeah.
Like, no. All right, yeah, Steve, bail us out here because I'm just going to keep going on about all the cool stuff in Rogue One that I want to see more of.
If you're looking for me to bail you out,
well, on that note, we'll close up shop for tonight. I guess that's what we got. So,
if you've learned anything on this podcast for the past 2.5 years, I'm not going to bail anybody out of this.
Yeah, right. So thanks, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. Again, we are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. Thanks go out to Galactic Empire. Check out their 2 albums available from Rise Records on all digital music platforms and where you buy CDs and all that kind of good stuff. You can get official Nerf Herder Council swag at shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. You can put any one of 3 logos on any number of products. So go and do that if you'd like to pimp out the show, which we would love because you're awesome for doing so. You can find the show on pretty much any podcast app you can think of. So if there isn't one that we're on and you want us on there, just let us know and we can look into it. But otherwise, yeah, Spreaker, Stitcher, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Casts, CastBox, all that good stuff, Google Podcasts. All of our episodes are available on YouTube. You can find us there. The website is nerfherdercouncil.com. You can interact with us on Facebook. You can send us an email directly, feedback@nerfherdercouncil.com. And we are active on our Twitter page, which is @NHC Podcast. So, once again, I am your host, JT @DogPoundJedi. He's AJ.
At Drake Adams 579.
He's Steve.
At JSteve1005.
And we will catch you next time.
Bucket of bolts is never gonna get us past that blockade.
This bucket's got a few surprises left in her. Plus, me and Chewie are on it. Ain't that right, Chewie?
Hell yeah, you my Nerf herder.
You my Nerf herder.